As you saw in my presentation, I will show you the mid-face mapping, okay? Second line, palpate the upper and lower margin of the zygoma. Now I mark the entry points for the vector lift of the cheek augmentation. I will affect positive vectors with the subcutis treatment here. So the first entry point is in the middle of the zygoma, so that's the second entry point. The threads I will place now are in a retrograde fashion, approximately like that. I will place 3 or 4 threads here to positive vectors to give her a positive lift upwards and laterally. And secondly, I will do the bolus technique to give her a frontal projection to lift up a bit her mid-face, and I will give her here, the bolus here and here. I think that's going to be enough, and one little here. I think that's going to be decided once I do the treatment in order to enhance the malar area. Do a little left here. This is the subcutis with a 25 1.5 inch cannula, blunt cannula. Never inject air, so I wanted to show you the priming of the cannula. See the bleb here of the hyaluronic acid? You have to prime the cannula first. Cannula treatments are done with a blunt entry hole maker. I do tunnel my way. First trick is, can you go on this side please? Tunnel the way. Go the direction you will go with your cannula later. Take the sharp needle off, please. Hold it for me. Now you will insert the cannula, hold it as a screwer, the needle, the syringe, sorry. Insert it, and then pinch the skin where you want to go deep. And now target the mobile structure, control, pinch, where you want to go deep. The steroid do have a hub marking where the tip, the hole is on the tip, so turn the cannula down, turn the tip, the hole down, then control the tip of the cannula, turn it down to the bone, inject on the periosteum. Okay, now I'm going to start to inject the subcutis. The tip is on her cheek apex point, down on the bone here. And now I do bolus with the cannula. I do stay on the cheek apex point and do put the subcutis in here. Now I do put a slight pressure on the plunger, and I did put my high heels off because I was too tall. But what I do now is I do check where I am and see what I get. The subcutis does lift the tissue immediately, and now you start to see. Now you see that the frontal projection starts to lift up. And now I start the threading. I go. Now I start to do the threading. I withdraw the cannula. I do the OG curve here. See that? See how it lifts immediately? So that was the first bolus and the first thread. Now I pinch her skin and redirect the cannula more medially and again to the periosteum, to the cheek apex point. And I do the next linear thread, OG curve once. And I do affect a lateral lift in the OG curve formation here. And now the third thread. Again, pinch. I do bolus here with the cannula because I think I can avoid a next pricking, a next entry point here. If I'm good, I don't know, I will see. And this is how I do change my cooking recipes I did put on the wall here on the live, because I see what I get immediately, and then I do change my strategy sometimes a bit. Next trick, don't inject once you're in the subderm, pretty out with the cannon. Stop once you're out. Now, okay. Now you can see that it does quite a pronounced projection. This is not the end result, but I wanted to leave it for a second to show you that first, the subcutis does a very precise projection, definition. It's a very precisely defining viscous hyaluronic acid. And then second, to show you, it's a very moldable substance. You can, like an artist, mold this filler to its final position. And you see that it does lift. You can lift with a filler. You can sculpt with a filler. And now I think I can do just a little bolus in the frontal part here, and then we're done. I use pretty much, I will use one syringe on her one side for the cheek sculpting on her. Sorry. So this is the gunshot-wise. This is the Chinese apple cheek now for you. Sorry, better?
Yeah.
Okay, aspiration, and then I need more here. Okay. Could you press down for me here? Press down, sorry. She doesn't have a lot of bony support. She's quite flat in her midface, so she needs quite a lot of filler for her early age. You can even bolus a bit more immediately, because I don't want to give her a second entry point here. Every entry point has a risk of a bruise, so... And be conservative in giving the boli here in the midface. They tend to, in difficult cases, make the tear trough worse. So, nasal label. Okay, the needle, the nice thing on the needle is to do the alar triangle is this way. Ouch. But please aspirate. The facial artery is running down here.
We don't see.
Oh, sorry. Thanks for telling. Do a little bolus in a gunshot-wise way, less painful and quicker done, rather than fanning around. But careful, be conservative volume-wise, because you can easily compress the facial artery. A little prick, ouch, entry point. Ah, you still had it, okay. Tip down, and then simply place the thread, always pointing medial, never inject into the mid-face fat pads here. I will work through down the face here. Now I'm using a 27 gauge needle. Should never be overdone, because a corner of the mouth done with an hyaluronic acid sometimes ends up in getting the vessels stressed and compressed. So bevel down 1 centimeter apart, 45-degree prick, subdermal placement of the needle. Needle up the tissue facing the red-white border. Needle up the tissue and point to the red-white border. Retrograde fashion, linear threading, fanning wise. 1, 2, 3. And one else. One again, 4. Now I touch and check what I did with a little cream. And now this is the dirty finger. Change your glove. Can you lift up your chin, please? See how she smiles without smiling? You have to lift up the corner of the mouth to one line. Bring it up again to one line. And now, don't forget the foundation. Don't only go to the surface, but give the patient back their foundation they lose. There is the submental fat pad and the jowl fat. I don't want to teach you anatomy now, but don't forget about that. Give them And I do it in several ways. A young patient doesn't lose that much weight, that much fat at her point. So how I do it, I place my finger to her mouth, her a little magic point here, subcutis against my finger. This is where she needs volume, a little bolus. Again. And facing upwards, and done. And always in front of the DAO, because otherwise the DAO might move your material. And this is about balancing a face. Look at the distance here to here and here. It's a bit difficult to see. You can see it better on the camera here than on the big screen.
But you can see it also as well.
Yeah, but do you see it? Did you get it? What she actually needs then? So that was pre-jowl sulcus treatment in her. Look at her chin. She has a flying chin. So her chin, nose project, I think she will profit on having her chin a bit back to, is that visible? To get her a bit back, just the very lower part here. That would be far more beautiful. Okay, so what we'll do, and this is very easy to do. And I'm still with a sub-skin here. Bolus injection, aspiration, and then 0.2. Okay, good. So to summarize, I did do 2 cc of a subcutis on Ludmilla on her cheeks, on her midface to lift and to accentuate the OG curve and the frontal projection, to smoothen out and the upper part of her nasal labial, folded eyelid triangle, and to lift up her to her corner of the mouth to rebalance her pre-jowl sulcus and her chin.
So this was 2 ml each side.
Yeah. a blunt 30 gauge cannula, which is a very delicate area. No pain. I'm always excited to do tear. Cool. Ludmila, can you sit up for me, please? I need gravity. You can use labium here. It's a great filler. You will have a great result. It does not end up to be lumpy.
There is a question.
You're lovely. Thank you, Ludmila. She's wonderful.